Hey guys, welcome to Sled Talk. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I would like to take a second of your time and introduce this season's title sponsor is Bikeman Performance. So they've decided to jump on board and help push the podcast. And if you're unaware, Bikeman is the elite level when it comes to aftermarket performance parts on your sled. So be sure to check out their site, link in the description. And without further ado, let's jump into the show.
Let the band play.
100K on the Protect, living life with no regrets. I can't designer when I get dressed. Hey. Summertime on winter fresh. I put her legs behind her head. Night she gone to bed. Bye. Every day it's a new test. I just keep chasing these checks. Living life with no regrets. Living life with no regrets. Living life with no regrets.
Welcome back to the SledSend podcast. Appreciate you guys tuning in on YouTube or Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you are at. And we are back with another episode here at the Albany Lodge. So we have returning guest David, who's also the owner of Albany Lodge, and then returning guest Dayton here, who is the VP. The VP of the Albany Lodge. Sorry, don't do that very often. So boys, welcome back onto the show. Appreciate you guys being here.
Yeah, thanks for bringing us.
Yeah, thanks for coming out, guys. It's been a blast.
Yeah, so
we've had so much fun.
Dude, oh my God. Well, let's just get right into that. I was thinking about this on the way back, riding the slingshots. I have never in my life had an experience of a weekend like this, ever.
Awesome.
And so doing all these podcasts, I feel, and talking all the time, I'm usually pretty good with my words. But I was like in my head on the way back, like thinking of like, how do I put this into words of like describing this? And the only thing that I can really think of is gratitude. Like, I'm so thankful that you guys allowed us to come out here and showed us everything that you guys have. That's like, my eyes are almost watering. It's weird. I'm sorry. But it's just like, I've just never experienced something like this, and I know Jeff hasn't either. I mean, you guys have treated us so awesome. Every single one of your staff, the customer service, the room that we stayed in, the food, the toys, everything, the scenery, all of it is it's just been an incredible experience.
Awesome.
And so I'm also kind of in my head too of like, how can I get everybody else I know to come here and experience this? Like, I was already trying to figure out like a family trip and getting people that are close to me to come out here. And obviously we're doing X amount, sharing the message on the podcast, but
those views earlier today sell it.
Oh yeah,
that was awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the cool thing about it. It's really hard to explain what this actually is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you tell people, oh, you get to see the granite peaks and you get to, ride on the trails, and there's 1,000 miles worth of trails, and you do all these things, but you really don't know just how awe-inspiring it is until you're physically here, and then you just walk away going, oh my goodness, I can't believe it.
Yeah. Well, that's a perfect example, right? Like, so at Heydays last year when we had you on and you kind of painted the picture, and you did a good job painting the description of what this place is all about. But that doesn't even come close to like once we're actually here and seeing it. Like,
you have to experience it.
It's just nuts. I don't know. It's a phenomenal place, and what you guys have done in the business side of things that you guys have turned this into is just we checked every single box.
Nice.
Every point was covered, so it was super. It's been a blast. So let's kind of take it back a little bit, David, because you bought this place 5 years ago?
5 years ago. Matter of fact, we had our 5th year anniversary on August 3rd.
Okay, congrats.
Thank you.
So going back to that, and on the last podcast, we kind of talked like your history over your careers and stuff, but what was the deciding factor that made you like, all right, I think I want to acquire this place and run this business? What was that moment?
I think I even kind of mentioned on the last podcast that we did is, we were bouncing around after I left corporate America looking for the right place. And literally this was we just stumbled on this. I'd love to say that it was, brilliance, intelligence that I have, but honestly, we literally, we came back from looking at a place up in Montana, and Trixie knew I was upset because it was all on Forest Service land, and it just didn't pan out the way we wanted it to. And she goes, well, we'll just find another place. And she literally jumped online and she found this place where it was for sale. And she goes, okay, we're going to Wyoming. And I'm like, okay, we're going to Wyoming. And so we literally rented a car, driving out of Missoula, and drove down here. And once we seen it and we met the owners, and that kind of just said, okay, well, yeah, we could definitely do better than what he's doing. Mm-hmm. And just literally kind of just spent time going through everything. And it was just, hey, we can really do a lot here. He's barely tapped what's going on and what you could potentially do with the business. And that's when we kind of said, okay, this is a place that we can take it from where it's at to, to the sky. There was just the opportunity was unlimited here.
Gotcha. So what were kind of the amenities that were here at that time that they offered versus like what you've grown it into now?
Yeah, so I think to start with is the lodge is really a family-oriented place now, right? When we first walked in, you had pool tables, you had people smoking in here, you had stains on the ceilings, you didn't have the furniture that we have. It was like walking into a high school cafeteria. It just wasn't done right. You had cooks that weren't really cooks, they were short-order cooks. And we've turned that and actually brought in chefs and executive chefs and sous chefs. And so the food quality is, 110% of what it used to be. And then changing up the interior, redoing the bar, having a full amount of alcohol, including our own branded liquor that we're now putting out there for people. So I could probably spend the next hour on every little thing that we did and updating all the cabins and putting new cabins in. And, obviously the plan was to replace all the cabins with new cabins and add more as we were going. But unfortunately, COVID and the fire and a bunch of other things that took place kind of slowed that process down a little bit and took our 5-year plan to really a 7 or 8 year plan before we get all done. And then I think most importantly is the staff, right? So when we came in here, they were poorly staffed, and the staff was, well, let's just say, you could have got better service at McDonald's.
Okay.
Right. And so we started really looking hard to find the right staff where it was enjoyable for you to be here, and finding good people like Dayton and bringing him on board and watching him work his way through the ranks. That was really the goal. And in my vision, having those right individuals in the right place. And that's what makes a business really good. It's not necessarily the concept or the idea that helps drive it, but without the people, it's nothing. It's just another business. And so it's finding the right people to do it. And that's what we're really focused on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that brings up a really good topic. So Dayton, how long ago did you start working here, and what did you start out with?
Yeah, so I started working here, it's probably been 4 years ago now.
Okay.
I started December of 2019, I believe. I actually started out as a bartender up here. Thought it would be a cool side gig. I was up here riding all the time. I grew up snowmobiling. I love snowmobiling. I'm like, what better place to work than up there? I'll swing tables, talk to guys that love snowmobiling. It'll be easy. Make tips.
The girls loved him too. Don't let him fool you.
Well.
He got really, really, really good tips.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Ladies,
I think you turned a little red.
That's funny.
No, yeah, but I love working up here. Obviously David was great to work for. At the time, good management staff. I knew that the direction the lodge was headed was a good one. Originally was going to school for wildlife. The goal with that was that I always wanted to work outside.
Yeah.
So eventually a spot opened up in the shop, wrenching on stuff, and I thought that, what a cool opportunity to do something like that. What would it take for me to get down there? Move that way, did that for a little bit, and then kind of like David said, moved through the ranks there, got bumped up, was in charge of the shop, got a director's position, and then where I'm at now, VP. And the whole thing's just been a trip. It's been super cool to see where I started. I didn't get to see the lodge before David owned it, but from when the day he bought it, because it was probably 6 months.
6 months, yeah.
Yeah, after you bought it that I started. Even that last 5 years has been a crazy transition. A perfect example is last night. There's families in here, there's older people, they're enjoying it all night, listening to live music, they're dancing, having a good time. It's not out of control. It's family oriented. The scenery's beautiful. You can't complain about anything like that. Job's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So you had mentioned the word family. So yesterday when we were filming that other podcast, there was a family reunion out here that was like 30 people.
Yep, there was 30 people.
Yeah. So, and then you had also mentioned that you guys put on some wedding stuff as well, too.
Oh, yeah.
So let's talk about some other things outside of like the power sports stuff that you guys facilitate too.
Yeah, so obviously we do weddings. We're sponsors of University of Wyoming, so we bring a lot of recruits up here, and the recruits go riding. We have the old folks home that come up here and they do their bird watching in the spring. So they'll come up here and they'll take this back room, and they'll have a big bus that brings them all up, and they sit out here and watch the hummingbirds and all the birds as they're coming in. And they don't have to go outside, or they'll go outside on the porch and they'll just hang out. We have full wedding services. We have full catering services. We'll even go catering off-site. So there's a lot of different wedding venues in and around the area. So we have that capability now of actually going out and catering off-site. We have corporate events. So Tubi was here, and we actually hosted their entire corporate event for all of their new product that was coming out.
Wow.
And cool. So they had all of their sales reps here. They even had the founder of Tubi actually come all the way from
Sweden.
Came in here and actually got him out of one of the snowcats, and he was just in seventh heaven when he was up here. So it was really good. So we do a lot of corporate events. We see John Deere out here, and they'll go riding. But the key thing is it's such a laid back, relaxed area that when they come in here, they're not pulled away by the hustle and bustle. Everything they need is right here. So they're here. Once they're here, that's it. So they're here for the 4 or 5 days, and they don't have to go anywhere. And so it gives them a chance to really bond and do some things that they haven't done before.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think for us, it really shows, that what we're doing is working. When someone comes up, and kind of like you said earlier, they come up and they love it so much that they want to bring the family up, or they love it so much that they want to bring the whole corporate event up. And they come up and we get that stuff set up. It really shows that they're enjoying what they're doing up here, and it's a good time.
Yeah. That was kind of my thought, too. Just seeing all the different families up here and, experiencing it. I want to bring my family here now.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Be fun.
Yeah. So before we get into the power sports, you guys do some guided stuff for hunting and fishing, too, as well?
Yeah, go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, so we started our fishing guides this year. It's been super cool. So we offer both just the normal fishing guide, the traditional guide that you would think of, but something unique that we have with Polaris Adventures is what we call a riding guide. So book your fishing guide, book your ATV, take it up, explore the mountain, take your own machine, go to Blue Ribbon. We had a Blue Ribbon trout stream on the backside of the North Platte. Douglas fishes really well. So you get the whole experience. You get to come up, you get to explore the whole mountain, still do your fishing and all that stuff. And it's been turning out really well. I think like the people that I've talked to that have done it it's unique. And that's kind of what we strive for up here. Like what can we offer that other people can't?
Yeah. And so for some of the hunting stuff, what's I think we might have mentioned it on the podcast yesterday, but what's some of the wildlife around here that you can go on a guided hunting trip?
Yeah, so our hunting trips are still in the works. It's basically down to finding somebody that has that willingness to do it for us. Fishing guides have been good. The wildlife, the populations are really good. Most of the zones up here are general. So you're going to see, we get a lot of out-of-state hunters that come and stay with us. Rooms are open, bars open all fall, obviously, and that's something that's kind of rare up here that attracts people in the fall.
Sure.
So right now we have a good facility to stay at. Hopefully within the next couple of years we got a guide that'll get you guys up there as well. Nice. But you're going to be looking general tags for elk, deer. I'm trying to ramble this off the top of my head. Moose. Antelope in the area, I guess you would say. Both mule deer and whitetail deer. That's probably, bear. Yeah. Black bear in the spring. That's a big one, actually, bigger than I thought. We get a lot of people that come up, actually, with dogs. They do a lot of mountain lion hunting up here as well. Yep. So we're starting to get some wolves moving into the area that are super cool. No tags or anything out for those yet, but me, personally, that's been one of my favorite animals growing up. So it's super cool to see the wolves coming back into the area,
Hope there's no ranchers listening right now.
And I think you even seen some of them yesterday when you guys were roaming around. If you've seen guys in full camo, they're actually out there scouting for when season opens. So they're actually trying to find where they're at, where they're located, and what they're doing. So you see them kind of just flow through almost the entire year, except for in the winter.
What about like down kind of in the valley a little bit more? Is there like some waterfowl hunting there? Not so much? Or?
Not so much.
Yeah, in the area. I mean, if you get closer over to like Wheatland, there's a lot of that. The valley's mostly private owned, so you got a lot of big cattle ranches and stuff down there. So what you see a lot down there is predator hunting, calling coyotes, stuff like that.
Okay, nice. Okay, I think we can get into some of the power sports that you guys offer.
Why would you want to do that?
Well, horsepower, baby.
So are we talking snow, or are we talking UTVs? Or are we talking slingshots? Or are we talking all three?
All of them, everything. Let's go. Let's just run through the snow fleet, and then we'll get into the side-by-side stuff and go from there.
Okay. Yeah, so we run a fleet right now of 65 machines. 45 of those are all mountain sleds. So all backcountry mountain sleds, all brand new sleds every single year. Matter of fact, we just got through placing our 2024 order.
Did you?
It'll actually start showing up probably September.
Yep.
We'll start building the machines, getting them set and ready to go. And then we do 20 trail sleds. So when we've got people that aren't quite there yet to really get in that backcountry, we have those trail sleds to be able to take everybody up. So, and you kind of heard me in the podcast the other day talk about the women's ride that we did, and really getting some of those women out there so they're starting to ride off the trail. So we take them on the trail to start with and then get them off and go through. We've got a school that for both beginner, intermediate, and advanced riders. I've got some of the best guides that you can possibly get anywhere in the country. Obviously, you guys know Austin Ritzma. He was here, and then we had Avery White that was here last year as well with us, and we're loading that up again this year. Literally, we had him so busy last year with guides that we had to turn people away.
Yeah.
So one of those things where, the snow is just so good here all the time that when people truly want to learn how to ride, this is a place that they want to come.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So then in the summertime, all the side-by-side stuff, I could not, we went out yesterday and then again this morning to get some more, some shots, and I cannot believe the web of trails that are back here. It's insane. There's so much ground to cover.
Yeah, so, we were talking about there's 2 million acres in the Medicine Bow National Forest, and in that 2 million acres in the summertime, you have 1,000 miles worth of trails.
That's how do you not get lost? Like, you took all I know you grew up here and stuff, and you were just taking all these turns, and right back to the barn. But
I mean, it definitely helps being up there every day. But big shout out to Polaris and Ride Command. I mean, that's been a saver for especially our customers. To be able to send them up there and not having to worry about them getting lost is a big worry off our plates.
Yeah. So how many side by sides?
20.
And what kinds?
So we're running Ranger XPs, Razor XPs,
General XPs,
and General XP, all 1000s.
Okay.
And those are all in 2 and 4 seaters.
Yeah, 2 and 4 seaters. And then we'll look next year. We're actually going to be pulling in the Turbo Rs.
Oh,
so we that got brought up in conversation, and it's kind of an interesting. Is that like a special waiver beyond just the regular 1,000 that people are going to have to sign? Because, oh my.
It's a lot of power.
I would tell you, though, we've got that in our Utah location, and I would tell you I got to ride some of those Turbo Rs, and we were always worried about up here, would they be able to handle them? But actually, those Turbo Rs with the dynamic suspension on them, night and day difference. It balances that out. It takes away a lot of the worry that we have with them with the regular Razors, getting out there and not being able to control it because of the sway.
Yeah.
Now they're going to have that dynamic suspension that's really going to kind of keep them planted on the ground. But they are fast.
Oh, yeah.
They're really fast.
We have to come back next summer now.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And this might sound like a silly question, maybe with the fact that you have over 60 snowmobiles, but would you guys ever do tracked side-by-sides for winter stuff, or is that just not really worth it because you have so many sleds? Just curious
you see us both shaking our heads. It's definitely been a consideration. I think on our end, our biggest worry is the experience of our customers and what they kind of want to do, and how much maintenance that stuff usually pertains to.
That's a lot.
Yeah, get machines in a place that they shouldn't have the machines.
Yeah,
and that's always a big thing. And I think Dayton was talking about the ride command. So the ride command is also on the snow machines now. So we have that, and then we actually have individual trackers on the machine. So if somebody gets up there that's not used to riding and does get lost, we know where you're at. We know where you're at all the time. We know the speed you're traveling. We know exactly what you're doing. Heck, those trackers will even tell us if you've rolled the machine. We know.
Just kidding. That's funny.
The recovery missions on a side-by-side with tracks would probably be a lot more difficult.
Yeah, I mean, it's way easier to get a sled unstuck than it is a side-by-side, right?
Yeah.
So, but I was just curious if it was.
Yeah. Well, and that's the unique thing about it, right? For the lodge, this is the only resort on the mountain that you can ride in and ride out of. Yeah. So once you come here and park, that's it. Both summer and winter, that's it. Once you pull your snow machine up to your cabin or your UTV, you don't have to get back in the car. You just get back in your unit and take back off up the mountain again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or even if it's your own.
Yep, right. And then new this year, right? A couple of slingshots.
Yeah. Okay.
How did that all come together?
Well, so I think they released them with Polaris Adventures probably 2 years ago now.
Yeah, 2 years.
I think.
Yeah.
So obviously we saw them come out. We took the option the first year. We really thought about it. We thought about it hard. We're like, man, those things are cool. We weren't sure how well they'd rent. Obviously, we don't have a lot of paved road up here, so we didn't know kind of what to do with them. Would people be interested? We didn't know what to think. After talking to Polaris Adventures some more, we finally decided, hey, let's pull the trigger on it. So we've gone ahead and we've set up a historical tour that takes you down to Laramie. It'll show you the old prison, take you up over the top of the mountain where we went today, down to 230 over Saratoga, that stuff. And our idea was, hey, let's give people that maybe don't want to go up on the mountain and get dirty all week a different option to do something else.
Sure.
And as you guys saw today, it's the perfect option.
It's crazy. Yeah, no, that was phenomenal. We'll get Jeff's take on that when he's back from fixing the cameras. But, yeah, I mean, just the idea of being able to see what we saw today with the mountains and the lake. It was Mirror Lake?
Mirror Lake.
And then we stopped at that lookout. Just to be able, and that took us 30 minutes, maybe,
about that,
to get all the way back to the lake at least. It was I don't know, it was just an interesting take to be able to be on the highway in that with an open cab, and those things rip real quick too. Because I was in my head too, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I would rather have this or a side-by-side. I don't know.
Yeah, that's tough.
What was your initial reaction, Jeff, when you jumped into
today?
one of those? Yeah, well, in the riding the slingshots.
Well, the slingshots are a lot of fun, but the scenery was
That's what got you.
That's what really got me. Yeah, for sure. It felt like a GMC commercial.
Yeah, it literally did.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to explain, the area we were in, but it was breathtaking, honestly.
Yep. Yeah, there were some surreal moments, and I think it'll be cool because we took quite a bit of drone footage and then some camera footage too that I think you guys will be able to repurpose for the website and socials and stuff, and kind of get more awareness around that. I mean, because if you're not sold on that view alone,
right?
I don't know what you're doing.
What I think's cool is just how easy it is to access that. There's a lot of people that don't see anything like that ever.
No.
And it's 30 minutes from here.
Yeah.
You can drive up to all of it.
And I think that was a key thing, right? So when we were talking with Kara from the Visit Laramie, it's a national scenic byway. And a lot of people, again, they're driving by heading someplace else, and they don't realize that the mountain is actually here and just how beautiful it is. But that short little detour, and what a lot of our customers are calling the Batmobiles.
Yeah, sure.
And driving up over that byway is just absolutely just stunning.
Yeah, I had a grin on my face the entire time.
Same.
Even with you driving.
Oh, you let him drive?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to drive back.
Yeah, no, it was cool. So what's like the next year or two look like? Is there any changes or upgrades or additions, or just for Albany? We can get into some other stuff later, but things that you can discuss at this moment, if there's some stuff you can.
Yeah, so we're looking. We've got some plans in place. Definitely, always expansion is taking place, and some things that we've got in the works right now, and. Within the next 2 years, hopefully we'll have new cabins in here for people, maybe a new hotel, you never know.
Okay.
Addition to what we already have here, just to be able to kind of accommodate the amount of people that like to come in here. Because bottom line is, if in the wintertime is our busiest season, if you're not booking 6 months to a year in advance, you're not getting in.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what we were saying.
So they've got to really kind of plan it out, or if they just happen to, if they're trying to chase the snow and chase the storms, you're probably not going to get on the mountain here. So you got to kind of just, even if you don't have a brand new storm, there's so much much snow at 486 inches that we had last year. You're going to play forever. You're going to find untouched meadows and special meadows that we know about that nobody else knows where they're at, to be able to get you into some of those places, and that's what comes into play. So it's we need to expand the occupancy. And once we do that, we know we can add more machines and get more people up here to actually see it.
Mm-hmm. I was super impressed by our cabin.
Oh my
gosh. It was badass.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. We actually built those 3 years ago.
Yeah, that's right.
So we actually built those ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, that is. Is that kind of like a similar blueprint of the other ones that are?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, that's good to know. Good to know. Nice. Dayton, any updates that you can speak on?
No, I mean, I'd say he covered it pretty well. I mean, that's our goal. How many people can we come through here and get to see how beautiful this place really is and enjoy it, And when right now our capacity sits at like 122, I think. 122. So if we can increase on that, we're making more money, but more people are enjoying what we love to do, what they love to do. And, at the end goal, that's what you're going for.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Is occupancy like one of your guys' biggest challenges right now at the moment?
Yeah. Yeah, we could actually market enough if we really got crazy about marketing, which, that's where my background came from. We could overdo what we're capable of doing.
Yeah.
And that's been a really good balance that we have right now. We're making sure that we're not getting so many people up here that we can't service them in the manner that we want. We want to make sure that we provide great customer service. So it's kind of measuring that marketing that we're putting out there to make sure that we don't have too many people up here or people waiting in line or they're not getting serviced the way they want to be serviced.
Slow growth might be.
Slow growth is the way to go.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Don't want to grow too fast.
Slow and steady.
Yeah. Consistency.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hope you're enjoying the show so far. Just want to take a quick second to introduce another one of this year's sponsors. We got RSI, so whether you need handlebars or grips, seat covers, controls, etc., doesn't matter. Use SledSend 2023 at checkout for 15% off your next order.
Any more of your initial reaction with going out with the razors until Austin blew a tire?
The razors were a lot of fun. I think I like the razors better, but I like the scenery of the slingshot better, right? Where I could get with that.
Yeah. Well, to argue against that though, we only put on like 60 miles.
That's
on the
true.
razors too,
That's
so
true.
What else have we
didn't
not
get
seen in the
we need more
side-by-sides?
time here for sure.
Yeah.
It's hard to just have 2 days here and be able to speak on everything,
I
right?
would tell you if you were here a week, you still wouldn't see everything.
Yeah.
Seriously, when you got 1,000 miles worth of trails and every trail is uniquely different than the things you see, and even the trail that you guys were on where Austin Ritzma had a flat tire, there's offshoots from that trail, what they call a 305A and 305B and 305C and D, that are just drop you down into a little valley where there's creeks running in through that area and there's nobody down there. You guys didn't even get a chance to touch any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Seems like there's a lot of like cool old historical stuff that you can kind of get to by the side-by-sides. Mm-hmm. Well, we were at that. Was that a mine?
Yeah, the Queen Mine.
That was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, the history there. And then we broke off and went to a waterfall.
That was fun.
There's like a little loop to park the side-by-sides, and then it's this pretty steep grade. And you had said not too many people really know about that place.
Yeah, it's kind of a hidden gem. I actually found out that, so Austin grew up out here, and that's the first time he's ever been there. He had no idea about it.
Oh, really?
And that's kind of what's cool about the summer. We get a lot of people out in the winter, but in the summer you get to go see all that stuff that's buried by snow. All the old historical cabins, the mines, the waterfalls. I mean, like that cave we found.
Yeah.
And that's what's cool about the summer is you can really go explore and see what's out there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that waterfall was pretty cool. I've never been right up in close. Maybe you have with stuff in Oregon, but
yeah,
that was a pretty cool moment until you tripped and fell.
Yeah, I was going to say, I got real close after that rock got me.
Dude, he stepped on it. Yeah, he stepped on it. I had just turned the camera off, too, because I was filming. He stepped on a sloped rock that had a bunch of algae and stuff on it and just slipped and biffed and landed right on his side, landed on his gat.
And you didn't get it on film.
No, I know. I had just shut it off.
It wasn't when he like jumped across, was it? I have a drone. I think I was flying my drone.
You were flying the drone.
Yeah.
Because we were going right where it like narrowed up there.
Yeah.
We were, because Austin had already gone over.
Yeah.
We were climbing up in there.
Yeah, so was the cave down by the waterfalls?
Yeah.
Yeah, that little one.
So actually that used to be a gold mine.
No, not that one. It was up. It's right up in the waterfall.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a cave down there that they actually used to be, it was a mine, and there was no gold. But what ended up happening is every time they'd go back in to try to get into the mine, it would freeze. And so they started calling it the ice mine.
Okay.
So the miners got really smart. So rather than mining for gold, they were cutting out big blocks of ice.
Oh,
and they
really?
were taking it down into Centennial where the train was coming through, and it created fresh water and ice for everybody down there.
Wow.
That's cool.
See, little things like that. That's neat.
I feel like there's just a ton of history here.
Yeah, I mean, I've been here, like I said, 4 years now. And I mean, you learn new stuff every day. It's crazy. And some of the people that grew up around here and have been on the mountain for 30, 40, 50 years, what they know and what they've experienced is so cool to hear them talk about. I mean, it's one of those deals you could just sit like this for hours on end and just listen to them talk.
Sure.
It's super cool.
Yep. So other than the occupancy thing, what are some other maybe low points or pain points that you're focusing on trying to
Staffing.
staff? That's another big thing. Yeah.
Yep. So we need staffing. And actually, if anybody's listening that's a guide, we would love to be able to talk to you. We're going to be at Heydays, obviously.
Yep.
And just stop by and see us because we're going to be looking for more guides because they're already starting to book up.
Yeah, so if that's you, stop by. Come say hi.
Come see Tyler.
Yeah, we'll be there too.
Yeah, I can't believe it's already almost time for that.
It's time.
Been a whole year since we met you guys.
Yep.
went by fast. And you have a little bit bigger of a booth and setup.
We do. We have an end cap. I guess I wish I remembered what booth it is, but we've got a full booth where we're by all the major manufacturers, and we'll be there. So you'll see the big Albany Lodge tent, and you guys will be there. We'll have Visit Laramie there as well. So any questions that you have, if we're booked up, they're going to be able to help you find hotels and everything else. So we'll be there. We'll be hanging out all week long.
Yes. Yeah. If you're listening to this and coming to Heydays, please stop by and shake hands with all of us. It'd be cool to see people.
I have a question.
Please.
Well, a topic maybe. Could you tell us a little bit about your guys' whiskey?
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised you didn't open the bottle over here or something.
I just looked at it. I'm like,
Yeah.
Jeff tried the whiskey last night and he liked it.
It was good. I liked it.
Yeah. So we wanted to make something, we wanted to create something that was unique. So when you came here to Wyoming, we wanted everything to be Wyoming, right? And so Pine Bluff Distillery, which is on your way through Nebraska, or just before you get to Nebraska, sits right on the border there. They came in and we created a partnership with them and started talking to them about, hey, we wanted to have our own unique alcohol here that nobody else can have in the state of Wyoming. So he started going through what he does to create the whiskey, and the guy's a master brewer, learned over in Germany, came back over here and came in. He goes, well, so here, try our whiskey. So yeah, one day he brought 23 samples from 23 different barrels, and I had to do 23 shots, which
wow.
How I remember which barrel I really like when I'm not a whiskey drinker was very unique.
Yeah.
But we ended up started doing that, and what we found is that we found some really good tasting uncut whiskey that is by the barrel, so there is no other one. So once that barrel is gone, so everything that we bottle, we get about 256 bottles out of it. Once it's gone, that's it. So every bottle that we sell is labeled and numbered, so it's 1 out of 256. I get number 1 out of all of them.
Yeah. Of course.
But we have those, and then you're actually able to buy it here and or just drink one. So we'll open up and let people drink them and take shots and different things. But what we find is people really like that concept of being able to have your own whiskey that's been done right here in this area. It's in a very unique bottle. The bottles come from Italy, has the Albany Lodge logo on it and everything else. So we not only have whiskey, we also have vodka, and we also have pickled vodka. Now, the pickled vodka is great for the Bloody Marys. I mean, if you haven't had a Bloody Mary, you need to have a Bloody Mary here with the pickled vodka because it's stellar. And then we can't really announce it yet, but as we come into the fall and this winter, we'll have some special branded beverages to go. We'll just put it that
Some
way.
new options.
Some new
There you
options
go.
for those who want something different.
Nice.
And so we worked with a group out of Casper, and so we have some new stuff that'll be coming in. That you'll be able to actually take home with you, and not just carrying case type thing. Yeah,
Possibly in 6-packs.
yeah. Yeah. They won't come in 12 packs, 6 packs. Yeah. You don't want to drink too many of them though, because they're pretty potent. Yeah.
It's got my curiosity.
They're really good.
Yeah.
They're really
That's
good.
exciting.
Don't you feel even more special now knowing that they only have 256 bottles?
That's right.
They gave us each one.
Yeah, right? Special.
That's cool.
Special to us.
Nice looking bottle too.
Yeah, thank you.
It is unique for sure. Stands out against all the other ones.
Yeah, and I guess the cool thing about it is that AL brand that you see on there, that was actually one of our employees who created that.
Oh, really?
Yep. So actually, Austin Ritzma's fiance.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So Alexis is actually, she came up with it. We put her to work, and she did all of our graphic design for us and came up with the concept and the idea and presented it, and it was so good that we ran with it. And so now it's our
clean.
It's our brand.
Yep. No, it's nice. It looks good. You got it on some shirts and stuff too?
Got it on shirts. We got it on hats.
Nice.
Got it on jackets.
Heck yeah.
What inspired you guys to do the whiskey? What was like that? What was that moment?
It was just really kind of just listening to customers and watching them. They wanted stuff, and really what kind of set it off is, obviously you guys got to taste the Bonds beer, and they're local. And what we've seen was a lot of the customers, and listened to them, they wanted stuff from Wyoming. They did.
Yeah.
They wanted to try something Wyoming, not something that they can go get when they're back in Nebraska or wherever it was. And so that's what kind of drove us to say, okay, we need to do something different. And so we did.
That's cool.
And it's
I like
been
that.
a pretty good success.
Very good success.
Yeah. Nice.
Very good success.
Nice. Cool. Other topics?
Always look at me.
That's why I like having you on, because I can put you on point like that.
I don't know. I feel like we've covered a lot.
Yeah, we have.
What else do you guys want to talk about? Is there more things you guys would like to share that we aren't hitting on?
Something else that needs to be highlighted that maybe we didn't?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say on our part, I'd like to thank you guys. I mean, I know you guys spent a lot of time thanking us earlier, but the stuff you guys put out and the content is great. I mean, we've worked with, just on the media side and like the digital marketing side, we've worked with a lot of different people. And you guys put out some awesome stuff. And it's always super cool for us, we're up here every day, do it every day. And, people know how that goes. You start to take stuff for granted. And when we get guys like you that come out and you kind of really reopen our eyes every time that we get to take you up to the mountain, you guys are sitting there looking at the mountain. You're like, oh, it's so beautiful. And I look at it every day. And then I kind of start, you start to sit there and think, and you're looking at it and you're like, you know what, that is awesome. And it reminds you what you're doing is cool. Really pushes you to go forward, be better. So I'd like to thank you guys for coming out.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah,
it's good guest to have.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Well, you're an awesome host, that's for sure. No, it's been, it's just to think of the order of events. I met Austin there and, at an event in Sandpoint and had him on the podcast and stuff. And you had kind of mentioned this at Heydays. He had kind of like pitched us to you and you weren't quite super sure. Yeah. And then we came to Heydays and got to shake hands and stuff and kind of, really fostered a relationship there. And then obviously you invited us back to Heydays again and then invited us out. You wanted us to come this last season, winter.
Yeah,
but
you missed it.
We couldn't,
486 inches.
Oh my gosh.
It was a hell of a winter, that's
wild.
for sure.
That's wild.
I think the word epic is what we used that you missed.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, hopefully we can get back this winter.
I feel like we have to.
Yeah, it's kind of set in stone now, right?
Yeah, we'll just book it before you guys leave. Then we don't have to worry about it.
We just get an email of an itinerary. But no, for the order of events and to be sitting here at this table with you guys and just kind of circling back to the gratitude at the very beginning, it's really rewarding for us because we put a lot of time and effort and money obviously into this whole concept and this idea, and this is kind of what it's all about, of like sharing a message of. We can cover a lot of different stuff on the podcast, but it's specifically, snowmobiling, right? And so the ability to go to these places and shake hands with these individuals and just share, what other companies and other people have to offer. Because my main thing is to just like this crazy sick obsession called the passion for snowmobiling. The idea is to share that with as many people as possible. And it takes meeting other people to spread that message even more. And so, you thanked us, but like right back at you for giving us another platform to do that as well. And it's, it's mutually beneficial. We can highlight everything at Albany, and then you guys are sharing our stuff and what we do. So it's a really cool relationship to have that means a lot to both Jeff and I. So again, can't thank you enough.
It was great having you guys out here. Always good to see you.
Yeah. Yep. Well, and we're spoiled enough to see you again in 2 months.
Yeah, that's literally right on the corner.
Yep.
I think the only thing I would have, and I'll have Dayton talk about it so I don't get teared up, is just a little bit about the Trixie Strong Foundation and what we're doing for that.
Yeah. So we do a couple events in the summer, and then last winter was actually our first women's ride, and I think you talked about that on the last podcast a little bit. Yeah. So the Trixie Strong Foundation was founded for Trixie, which was David's wife. Passed away in November of 2022. Now I'm gonna get teared up too. It's been a lot, it's been a hard couple months not having her here, but I'm sure some of you guys listening to met her. Tyler and Jeff got to meet her at Heydays last year. The sweetest woman you'd ever meet. So the whole point of the Trixie Strong Foundation is to bring awareness to colon cancer, particularly in women. We hold these events to raise money to hopefully bring awareness to people and also help pay for people to get colonoscopies that maybe can't afford it, don't need to, don't want to, or whatever it is, that you think. I would say, our experience, it's important. Take care of yourselves, take care of the people around you, and everything works out good. It's a super cool thing though. The women's ride, we put over 65 women up on the mountain last winter. This summer, everyone's pretty familiar with our adventure runs. So we do a big run up on the mountain. It's about 65 miles probably.
It's 59.2 miles this time around.
Yes, a couple different checkpoints and stuff there. Usually a huge turnout. We're going to have booths set up. Last year, I think we put 150 people up there.
Yep.
So this year, same thing. The only difference is this year, all the proceeds are going to go to the Trixie Strong Foundation. I shouldn't say all. A majority of the proceeds are going to go to the Trixie Strong Foundation. Kind of walked you through what that stood for. It's a super cool event. A lot of big names in the industry will be here, all supporting kind of what we stand for and what Trixie stood for when she was here. So it's something super cool to take part in. If you guys are interested, it'll be August 19th this year. Couple weeks away.
You can just come back out with your families.
Hey. Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you guys bringing that topic up. I wasn't too sure how to navigate. I told you that earlier. And so from both Jeff and I, we want to give you our condolences.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you shining some light and awareness on that topic and that foundation and what you guys are doing, because it's really cool to see you guys put effort, time, energy, money into bringing awareness to that stuff. Because you could very easily not. Right. And so it's just really cool to see how many things you guys actually do and offer. It's a phenomenal business in general. This is a really cool place. And nice. So I'm just so stoked that you guys are doing something like this and can offer it to so many people. And so it's probably interesting to think too of like how you and I have felt yesterday and today, with the family aspect and stuff. Yeah. It makes me think about like this feeling that we have now of being here, and now that we know what it's like and we want to bring other people back and stuff, you and I aren't the only ones that are feeling that way.
Yeah.
So
sure.
Everybody that comes here can walk away with that kind of feeling that Jeff and I are having, right? So that gives us a really good display on what that feels like, knowing that the majority of all of your guests and clients have got to be feeling a very similar way. I mean, yesterday you had said we kind of talked a little bit about repeat clients, repeat customers, and that's a very common thing. And so I say that to just say to you guys that are listening and watching this, if you're thinking about booking an experience here at Albany Lodge, whether it's in the summer or obviously it's a Snow Wheel podcast, so maybe more so in the snow world, absolutely don't hesitate to do that. Whether it's just with a group of buddies, friends, family, you guys cover all the bases for whoever shows up. There hasn't been anything where I was like, oh man, I wish we had this, or I wish they had that.
For sure.
Everything's
been top
it's
notch.
Almost like, not in a bad way, but overwhelmed with like, oh my gosh, we're up here in the middle of this mountain in Wyoming, and there's all this
stuff to do,
which is super cool. So what's the website that everybody can go to
AlbanyLodge.com.
Okay, nice. And
pretty simple.
Yeah. That's an easy one to remember. So yes, you guys listening and watching, please go check that out, and check out all of their socials, just at Albany Lodge as well.
That's
Instagram,
it.
their Facebook page. Go check all that stuff out. Questions? Like those podcast questions?
Like the end question?
Yeah.
My question's simple.
Okay.
Why haven't you guys came to Albany Lodge yet?
I
like it. What are you guys doing?
I like that question.
What are you guys doing?
That's a good question, but also at the same time, I think that everybody knows that they need to be here, so they won't comment. So there won't be any, because everybody knows they need to come. So, because you can't have an excuse. You need to be here. David, you got a question other than the female riding?
Oh yeah, I got to think of another female.
Really,
I'll throw it over to Dayton first, and then I'll think of another one.
Perfect.
Let's see here. So it's something unique about the area. So how many of you guys get to recreate in the same exact areas or zones that you ride in the summer? You also do a lot of stuff in the summer, or in the winter. Do you also get to do in the summer?
That's a good question. Comment your answers below. Let us know.
Wow, you threw it back over to me.
I know.
Do you have one?
What? Yeah, I got one.
No, not you.
Well, I got one. I want to take my turn. I mean, jeez. Yeah, so how many places have you guys been that you can actually ride in and ride out of, both summer and winter,
yes,
and literally walk out of your cabin and get on a trail somewhere?
Yep.
it's always cool to see people coming across the parking lot with like three pieces of luggage strapped to the back of their tunnel. You know, you don't see that very often.
Yeah. You want me to ask you a question?
You put everyone else on the spot, so I feel like it's only fair.
And that's why he gave it to everybody else first.
Yeah.
I could just deflect it, you know? Well, I would like to ask, but I already kind of know the answer because of our demographic. Well, I want to ask, if you only had one option of a power sport to ride, which would it be? Would you come here for the sleds? Would you come here for the side-by-sides or the slingshots? That's a pretty obvious question.
For your
Yeah, everyone's going to say a sled, of course. God damn it.
But you'd be surprised how many people that sled here actually do summer as well.
Yeah.
Bring the family back in the summer.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
And it's a good question, though, right? So that question, because of Kira, right? So this is going to go on the Visit Wyoming site and get kind of put out there to people who maybe don't ride sleds.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's a valid question.
That is true. Yeah. So we'll go with that one.
I saved you, didn't I?
Thank you. I kind of feel like I want to ask something else though too.
Yeah. Well, I will throw out though, we're working on a deal right now with a company that will actually be able to pick you up in Denver and transport you here to the lodge.
Oh, really?
Yep. So we're working through that process right now. Dayton's kind of doing the logistics with them and getting it ready to go, and they'll be able to just literally pick you up, so you don't have to worry about renting a car or driving on the freeway or anything else.
Oh my
And pick
gosh,
you
that
up and
just-
bring you straight up.
That alleviates so many other things that you have to do to get to a location like this.
I had something I forgot to ask earlier.
I just had it, and then I said that. This stuff doesn't happen to me. I don't like
Okay, well, you can have a little more time. One thing I wanted to ask you guys about is I grew up riding dirt bikes. Is there ever a possibility of that happening here?
See, we didn't put that up there, did we? We forgot about that.
We got too many options. So also new this year, we've got a dirt bike guide. There's about 90 miles of single track trail up there that is, it's world class. It's challenging. It's tough. It's beautiful. There's sections of it that are easy. There's sections of it that are for, people that are expert riders, I guess you would say. We've got a guy that'll take you through the whole thing. I think he's been riding it for like 20 years now.
He
or
actually
something.
helped build the trail.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's tough enough that you're not going to do half of it in a day.
Gotcha.
And it is a true single track, over logs, under logs, over rocks, everything. It is a true single track motorcycle trail. And that's the only thing that's allowed on that trail.
Nice.
Only thing that would
That's
fit for
exciting.
sure.
Yeah, only thing that'll fit.
I want to check that out now.
Yeah. Well,
So you guys have a guide. Is there ever potential for rental machines for that?
I don't think Polaris has anything to do with motorcycles at this point.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I was asking. I guess
You never know, though. Polaris is a very progressive company. I mean, they have end-in. They now have boats.
Yeah.
So
They do a lot of different stuff.
yeah,
Actually.
yeah.
they're going to become the power sport leader across the board on everything.
I wonder if you think they'll bring jet skis back?
I can't answer that question.
Personally, I hope so.
Yeah, right?
Did you remember your question or no?
Nope. No.
So is that a wrap then, or what?
Yeah, I think so, unless there was any other last
I don't think I
parting
have
words
anything.
you guys
Nothing
wanna
over here.
No,
part
just again, thanks for being out here. Love having you guys out here. You're a great group. You guys are good at what you do, and we appreciate it. Even
like you.
to that little old lady who was talking to me out there, wanting to know what a podcast was.
Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
funny.
Well, cool. You guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in to this episode of the SledSend podcast. Unfortunately, we got to tear down and make our way back home tomorrow morning. But it's been great. It's been an awesome weekend. Again, thank you guys for hosting us. And we will catch you guys on the next episode, probably at Haydays.
Living life with no regrets. I can't designer when I get dressed. Summertime on winter fresh. I put her legs behind her head. Night she gone to bed. Bye bye. Every day it's a new test. I just keep chasing these chicks. Living life with